Jack and her little brother Birdie are not happy, moving in with an uncle like Patrick. He's the exact opposite of Uncle Carl, who spoiled them with honey bunny buns and spontaneous days home from school. Patrick doesn't like to talk. He doesn't make up fantastic games like their mama did, and he doesn't like his nephew's lip gloss and sparkly clothes. When a school bully sets his sights on Birdie, Patrick says it's time for Birdie to give up all things sparkly and fabulous. And that's when Jack knows it's up to her to do something. She sets a plan in motion, hoping to channel just a little bit of the magic her mama believed in. But while she's busy trying to look out for Birdie, who's looking out for Jack? Here is a preview of Birdie and Me by J.M.M. Nuanez. Today is Saturday, the day we usually eat honey bunny buns for breakfast and read the back page of the newspaper with Uncle Carl while he drinks coffee and smokes on the porch. The back page is the section of the newspaper that has weird news about things like two-headed llamas, or people who get themselves stuck in air conditioning vents, or pets that are accidentally sent through the mail and survive. But today isn't just Saturday, it's also moving day. And right now my little brother, Birdie, is on the couch waiting for me to open my eyes. I pretend to sleep, but even in the half light, through squinted eyelids, I can see he's got Mama's old purple eyeshadow on and a towel draped around his head like a glamorous headscarf. Jack, Birdie whispers. Miss Jackie, Jacko. I'm sleeping. You should too, I say. I can't sleep anymore. He creeps across the couch, down to my futon, and lays his head next to mine. The smell of Dr. Pepper lip gloss fills the air. In my ear, he says, I've got a stomach ache and it's probably critical. I don't think we can move today. I open one eye. Critical? Birdie leans toward me and whispers, critical is the worst stage. You're not critical, I say, sitting up. Okay, he says, but I do have a stomach ache. I peek out the dusty blinds. Patrick will be here to pick us up in 2 hours. I do too, Birdie. Birdie straightens his towel scarf and rewraps it under his chin and says, do I look like Audrey Hepburn with my scarf? Who? Audrey Hepburn, you know. Charade. Breakfast at Tiffany's. My Fair Lady? I wait for him to say something about Mama and her obsession with these old movies, but he doesn't. You'd look more like Audrey Hepburn if you had sunglasses, I say, but it's not bad. He smiles a little, but unwraps the scarf and drapes it over his head like a lampshade. Then he takes a fashion magazine from the coffee table and opens it on his lap. Maybe we should go to the library today, he says. I don't say anything because even though he might pretend that today will be like any other day, living with Uncle Carl, I see that he's already packed his backpack and 2 duffel bags. Birdie's only 9, but he knows there's nothing we can do about this move. Uncle Carl messed up too many times, and now we have to move in with our other uncle, Patrick. Two hours later, Uncle Carl comes out of his room in his shiny gold boxing robe. He salutes us and then leaves the apartment with his empty coffee mug. His first cup of the day is always the free coffee from Juan at the Stop and Go down the street. He told us that him and Juan have an understanding. I don't know what exactly they understand, but as long as Uncle Carl brings his own mug, he comes back with free, steaming hot coffee. Birdie puts one magazine down and picks up another. I try writing in my observation notebook, but my pen doesn't write anything except a giant question mark with a lopsided circle as its dot, which I color in until my pen starts to run out of ink. I make a second piece of toast because Mama used to say that toast was good for stomach aches and other ailments like sadness and nervousness and writer's block. But after eating it, my stomach drops when I see Patrick's truck pull up. Birdie must hear the engine because he looks up from his magazine and says, "But Uncle Carl isn't back from the stop and go yet." "I think I see him now," I say. Uncle Carl and Patrick meet on the sidewalk and stare at each other, and for just a moment it's like Uncle Carl is standing in front of a mirror. The same white skin, same wavy gray hair, same bushy mustache, and same lanky frame. But the mirror image isn't wearing a gold boxing robe, sweats, and worn-out leather huarache sandals. Instead, Patrick's wearing what he always wears, an old Chevy baseball cap pulled low, a tucked-in plaid shirt rolled to the elbows, arms crossed in front, jeans, belt, and work boots. "Are they ready?" I hear Patrick ask Uncle Carl. "Of course they're ready." Uncle Carl starts up the stairs. "You going to come up? Or should I send them down so you don't have to set foot in my apartment? Wouldn't want you to break your, almost year-long streak?" Patrick watches Uncle Carl climb the stairs to the second-story apartment, his hands now on the hips of his belt. When Uncle Carl blunders in, I start holding my breath. Birdie and me stand up from the couch and go behind the coffee table, which holds Marlboro, Uncle Carl's 2-foot-long taxidermied bearded dragon. Birdie is still kind of freaked out by her glassy, real-looking eyes and her spiky skin, which Uncle Carl insists is second to no animals in radiance and beauty. I keep thinking that Birdie will be less afraid of the giant lizard now that she isn't alive, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It's 10 heartbeats before Patrick shows up in the doorway. Birdie and me stay behind Marlboro. "They're ready," says Uncle Carl, after taking a long drink of coffee by the kitchen counter. "All packed just like you asked." We haven't been in Patrick's truck since that 7-hour drive almost 10 months ago from our home in Portland, Oregon, to here in Moser, California, aka a small town in the middle of nowhere, Northern California. Patrick gathers up our bags that are piled by the door. He looks at Birdie in his yellow shirt that has polka dot strawberries all over it, and his rainbow sneakers. At least his leggings are just plain black, and the purple eyeshadow has mostly rubbed off. He cradles his favorite purple jacket like a stuffed animal. Patrick won't stop staring. Then he silently goes out to his truck with our bags. Uncle Carl turns toward us. "Phew, okay, I have some parting gifts, even though I fully expect to see you tomorrow. I know it's a bit of a walk from Patrick's, but I promise a sundae from the Fry Shack or something better if you come visit me." "We're going to visit you," I say. "You don't need to use bribery." "Okay, but I have to make a grand gesture so I don't cry. Now, here, just take them." The big paper bag in his hands is full of individually wrapped honey bunny buns, the mini cinnamon buns they sell down at the Stop and Go for 50 cents each. Before we can thank him, he puts a hand on each of our shoulders and says, "Now look, I should have paid better attention to your schoolwork and your teachers, but how was I to know there are truancy laws, right? And I didn't mean those things I said about your teacher, okay, Mr. Bird? You know, I was just really broken up about Marlboro." He stands up straight and rubs the back of his neck and looks away. "All I'm saying is, things are going to be different for you at Patrick's. That goat has lived alone for 30 years, so who knows what he's going to think of living with 2 kids. But just because you live with him now doesn't mean you can't come to me if you need anything. He takes a deep breath, and I think he's going to continue his speech, but he doesn't. Then all of a sudden, he's ushering us downstairs to the truck, where Patrick sits in the driver's seat with a passenger door open. The engine roars to life. We don't hug Uncle Carl. We don't even say goodbye. After climbing in and clicking our seat belts and closing the door, I roll down the window. The truck pulls away from the curb as Uncle Carl says, "I'll see you guys later." He watches us go, sipping his coffee the entire time so that the mud covers his face. And this has been a preview of Birdie and Me.